on an all-new Dr. Phil.
This organization wants to terrorize me.
Imagine believing your every move
You said 10 to 15 stalkers followed you.
is being monitored.
I have 1,784 pieces of evidence. He signaled a car. Did you see that hand motion?
Is he dealing in reality?
You said you had a stalker on your roof. Were the police called?
They were.
They have no record of it.
Or paranoia?
Maybe it's not happening.
I'm afraid of you. I'm honestly afraid of you.
All new Dr. Phil.
Now, Matt says that he's even caught some of the stalkers actually on tape. And you said evidence trumps, so let's take a look at this.
Yeah. The street rustle that you see is not used very often. Now, as cars are going by me, you might notice they're going to start to slow down, and they're going to make right turns. There were just too many cars turning on. 3 straight cars and another one turning. That's 4 cars in 3 seconds that just turned on the street. Maybe he turned because of the traffic, but I don't believe so. But I'm also sane enough to know that there are other reasons a car can be turning. Here's a gentleman. What the hell is this gentleman doing on this street? Look, he's not crossing the street because the light's going to change and he's not going to turn. He's looking around. Why is he looking down that street? Is he waiting for someone? Doesn't look like it. He is not happy about me in this car. It looks like he just gave this person a little wink. Don't worry, I got him covered. Another car. Wow, 2 cars in 1 second turning. He just made, if you look carefully, he signaled a car. Did you see that hand motion? Here we go back. And right about now, any second, there was the hand motion. It doesn't look very scary from this video, of course not, but when you're living this and knowing what's happening, it's terrifying.
So that proves what to you?
Okay, by the naked eye, that doesn't prove anything. To me, I know what happened before the video started. I know that I had been followed that day. Okay, I also know,
Well, but we said evidence is going to control the situation.
Correct.
What does that evidence show?
That corroborates.
Here's more video evidence that Matt took a few months ago. Take a look at this.
On this video that you're going to see, I am leaving a person's house up in the hills late at night. Right at there, a car is already driving by. Now, this is not a surprise to me because I knew I was going to be followed when I left because I was followed there. And there we go, we have the 2nd car already. There should be no one out of their house at this time of night. I see the 3rd car. It's 2 o'clock in the morning right now. Okay, I'm coming to a stop sign almost every single time when I'm in a situation where I'm being followed. Right there we go. This car is parking. Why would a car park on the middle of up, turning his car off? 4 cars in a 1-minute drive. I'm almost down the hill. Up, another car's lights went on. That's 5 cars we counted in 2 minutes. We're winding down. Look at that. 2 o'clock in the morning and there's 2 people sitting beside their car. It happens every single time I'm being followed. Ask yourself how many times that happens to you.
In 2009, you said you had a stalker on your roof. Did you tell us that?
I did.
Were the police called?
They were.
And they came out, and you were surprised that when people came out, neighbors came out, they were all dressed in the middle of the night.
Correct.
And you thought it was really odd that people would already be dressed in the middle of the night.
Correct.
And you want to talk about evidence, so we contacted that police department. We had them search their records, not just from 2009, but all the way back to 2003.
Correct.
Okay, and here's what they said. They said, we can find nothing in our current records reflecting an incident with Matt finding a subject on his roof and assisting our department with an arrest. Our checks went back from 2003 to present. There was no record found concerning such an incident after checking the provided name, address, and the possible date of occurrence of 3909.
I'm aware of that.
So they have no record of it.
Okay.
Did you tell us that happened?
I absolutely told you that happened.
And that is the police department.
Yes.
And they say they've got no record of it happening.
I'm shocked. Okay. You know, again, I'm too sane to go into some kind of conspiracy theory, but I do know that I specifically, at least 7 days ago, or 5 days ago, asked your staff when we couldn't find the records because I was part of the process of trying to find that record.
Right.
Okay. And I asked your staff to just please have a PI go over and speak to the next door neighbor to confirm that that did happen.
Yeah. You say, I'm not a conspiracy theorist, although you have a theory that there is a conspiracy of hundreds of people from this giant organization that are trying to harass you for reasons you don't understand. And you have examples of people turning on their car lights or turning off their car lights. You had a cell phone that doesn't have internet service, and then all of a sudden it does have internet service when you don't have an internet cell service plan. And you said you talked to some woman who said, I don't know how that happened because we didn't do that. Well, we tracked that person down.
Which person?
This woman that you talked to at the phone company.
Okay.
And here I got a statement from her. Andrea was a representative that assisted Matthew with his Pantech P7040 phone. He stated that there was no access of data on his account. I verified there was no access of data on his account, but his phone had signs of the device being on the internet, although he had no access to the internet. The phone was compromised. Due to the issue, I exchanged the phone to the same make and model.
That's exactly right.
Yeah. You know what I find interesting about that?
What?
It's when we find something that confirms an event, you go, exactly right.
Right. Well, there
We
haven't been
find
many.
something that doesn't confirm it, you go, oh, well, with all due respect. You question the validity and reliability of the search. You had some very specific examples of being stalked. Like you said, you had 10 to 15 stalkers followed you into a grocery store and actually followed you aisle to aisle.
You know, there's a legal term called declarations of against interest, and I don't think I would subject myself to this if I didn't truly believe this was happening. I know you're going to say, well, I know you might believe it, but it's not happening.
I didn't say it wasn't happening. I'm just
Okay,
looking at the evidence.
Okay. I'm a logical guy. If there was a schizophrenic person and he reported that he was being stalked, you probably wouldn't believe him because he's schizophrenic. So
Oh,
there's-
I've always said the hardest thing in the world to treat is a paranoid that really does have somebody after them. I mean, it is like,
right.
I mean, by the way, we did a drug test, and your drug test came back negative for all substances. So you.
Thank you.
One of his oldest friends says, let me tell you something. Matt is too smart to be crazy. His term. Take a look.
I have known Matt for 25 years. I have never known Matt to be delusional or paranoid. A crazy person doesn't preface what they're going to say by saying, it may sound crazy, but. Matt says, I know this sounds crazy, and he's very specific about what's been happening, so it doesn't make sense that he's crazy. One time, Matt said somebody was up on the roof and he heard footsteps, and that the person fell off the roof.
Listen, I don't know what the guy was doing on my roof. He could have been installing some kind of listening devices. I just don't know.
There was never a time when I thought he was making these things up. Because he's honest, he's straightforward, he's loyal, and he's very smart. So it's not inconceivable that somebody that Matt met is somehow following him on the internet.
All right, joining us on Polycom is Matt's longtime friend, Rick. Rick, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having us, Dr. Phil.
So what do you think about this? You're in his world, you're out there with him, you know him.
I'm here because I want to be supportive of him, number one, and because I suspect that whatever is happening to him probably is happening to other people.
It's also in the audience is Paul. He's another good friend of Matt who says that he certainly believes in Matt. So, Paul, tell me what you're thinking here is based on what you know and what you're hearing unfold as we go along here.
Sure. I do believe what he's saying. Yes.
Okay.
I do
All
believe
right,
it.
so you believe it, and your other friend believes this. So you've got some support people in your world that say, you know, he's just not making all of this up.
Matt, thank you for coming
Pleasure to have me here.
join
Thank you very
today.
much.
Do you think you need help?
I need help for what I've been through for the last 4 years. I'm being stalked and terrorized and harassed and cyberbullied.
How?
I would say I have 2,000 different evidences, and I would say that I'm only right about 70% of them.
You sleep okay?
I tend to rehash things in my mind so I don't forget them. One of the reasons I journal a lot and write things down is because as soon as I do that, I stop thinking about them.
And you have anxiety,
I don't.
but you're anxious.
I'm anxious for 4 years where I'm running. So if you think I can turn off the anxiousness, if I'm right and this is happening and you guys don't support me, you are giving satisfaction and achieving the goal that this organization wants, which is to terrorize me.
If we go through something and there's evidence and it's found to not really be, then you have to be open to the other option.
Okay, except for the fact that I'm also an attorney of 25 years. I don't know how old Dr. Phil is, but I have more experience as an attorney than you do as a psychiatrist, and it trumps you. My evidence overrides whatever psychological opinion you make of me. There is nothing wrong with me. I'm the sanest person you're ever going to meet.
Well, Dr. Charles Sophie is board certified in adult, child, and adolescent psychiatry, as well as family practice. He is a medical director for the County of Los Angeles Department of Child and Family Services. He's the author of Side by Side, the revolutionary mother-daughter program for conflict-free communication, and is one of the people in this profession that I have a great respect for. So please welcome Dr. Charles Sophie. Come on up. Dr. Sophie, good to see you. Good to see you. Take my chair, because I'm going to do some stuff over here in just a minute. So you think because you've been a lawyer longer than he's been a psychiatrist that you trump him, even though you're in his field. So I've been doing this longer than you've been doing that. So if I come to the courtroom, do I tell you to sit down? I'm going to take over here because I've been doing my job longer than you've been doing your job? That doesn't sound rational.
Not at all.
Take it back.
I take it back.
All right. Now, what was your conclusion?
I mean, it's obvious that you're not crazy. You are not psychotic. You're not walking around delusional and confused and hallucinating. You're highly, highly anxious.
We asked you what you thought was behind it. You said there were 7 possibilities, and you didn't want to be too specific because you don't want to slander anybody, of course, and we're careful not to do that. You said it could be the mafia, could be Scientologist, could be a billionaire ex-relationship, veteran support organization, a friend that you threatened to sue, a bail bondsman, or drug dealers or clients. Out of the 7, what would be your most likely?
Well, I would say the most likely, I don't believe it's any of them, okay? I've just put that in to show people that there is a realistic possibility that this is happening. I have my own conclusions, and
What are they?
well, you said it on the at the beginning of the show. I believe it's a game, kind of like the Hunger Games,
Right.
by a lot of cyber geeks all around in the world, and I don't know what the end game is for them, but I believe that's the only way I can come up with a conclusion as to how they can afford to do this.
Okay.